So I'm here with Josh Baker, owner of HiFi. We know him from doing shows with MOKB, and you've got this restaurant now called Easy Rider Diner that's open in Fountain Square right next to the HiFi. So, I mean, there are a lot of different reasons that have kind of been explored in coverage of this new restaurant, but what would you say are some of the main ones that made you decide you wanted to open it?
For us, it was the space, because we have the HiFi and the annex, and this space came available. We wanted to not necessarily have control over it, but it really fit well into our footprint of venues, and we didn't quite know what we were going to do with it at the time, but we knew we wanted it. And so out of that, 6 to 8 months later, and a new relationship with Chef Ricky, we've got this really amazing brunch and dinner spot that just complements all of our concerts. It's been a lot of fun. First time restaurant for me and our team, so we're obviously learning a lot, but when the food's as good as it is, the rest gets a lot easier.
Ricky, then when it came to designing this menu, it sounds to me like Josh really kind of left a lot of it up to you. Would you say that was the case?
I think that is true, and part of it. So going back to our very first meetings, I think the food and the menu that we had in mind, it looks completely different to what we have. Because we had an idea of like a traditional, American diner. Then we start talking things that I like, things that he likes. And, day by day, the menu was changing. I bring my background, the food that I grew up with, flavors, cooking techniques, and then some classic American, dishes. And we just put it together, and that's, Easy Rider, that's the result,
So, Josh, like the word diner to me evokes, kind of greasy spoon type stuff. And was that kind of part of your initial vision, as I'm hearing from him, was just kind of like, we'll just give you what you're expecting. And then when I look at the menu, it absolutely isn't. Kind of like what he said, this evolution took place.
Yeah. To me, I think diner means different things to different people. We didn't want to have a very pretentious spot, approachable. And I think by just, calling it a diner, it's kind of for everyone. And we have so many different audiences that come in for shows. And that's kind of like the experience, too. We want you to, you come to a HiFi show. If you've never been before, you get there and you're like, wow, this sounds incredible. Great concert experience. Same with the restaurant. When you walk in, you see diner, you're going to walk in and be like, oh, wow, this is cute. I like the vibe. Oh, my God, this food's incredible. That's that kind of discovery all along the way. And that's... Maybe we downplay it a little bit to start, and then when you get here, you're like, wow, so.
Ricky, what are some of the items on the menu that came later? What were some of the things that you said, you know what, if we're going this direction, we ought to try this too?
So I think one of the items for sure, it's chilaquiles, which we're going from fried chicken and waffles to a little too far, which is like a traditional Mexican breakfast dish. I always use that as an explanation. Chilaquiles, it's one side, and the waffle and fried chicken is the other side, and that's the combination. But I do have a fun story about something that we never thought we were going to be doing. So we have an item on the menu that it's waffle flight. So it's a little baby waffles, little mini waffles with 4 little dipping sauces. So at the beginning, we thought we were going to be doing a bunch of biscuit sandwiches, just biscuits, biscuit house, It was after we were playing for a week, trying different biscuits, I was like, look, everyone is doing biscuits. McDonald's does biscuits for breakfast, So we started doing something different, but I had a leftover biscuit dough, and then we got our new waffle machines, and we started playing for the temperature. And after I had those little waffles, I just put sugar on it. I was like, well, this is not bad. So we started playing with that, changing different dough, playing with the doughs, and that's how that one was made. So that's, a fun part of, what creating a menu or what opening a restaurant is. Sometimes your best items, the ones that come, just out of nowhere.
Well, and indeed, I've never heard of a waffle flight. So you're breaking ground.
And he's not even talking about the sauces. I mean, they're all house-made dipping sauces that are incredible and really make it what it is. And they come out on a flight board like you'd get a flight of beers or something, but you're getting a bowl, and then the dipping sauces are all on the flight. So it's cool, it's fun for the table, and people love it.
I was talking, Josh, to Dave Lindquist, who I know you know, and he does a Monday night show for us that features new music. And he was saying after Easy Rider announced, or maybe it was after it opened, that one of the things that you can do now, because you got the Easy Rider Diner open, is you can do 18 and older shows at the HiFi now. Was that sort of part of the reason why you opened up this space, or is that just a byproduct, would you say?
Yes and no. It wasn't in the initial reasoning when we did it. We've been trying to do that for 10 years.
Sure.
And Dave and I have had a lot of conversations about that and how important those 16 and 17-year-olds, those moments they have at shows, influence their, the future of their musical taste, and growing up with music is important. And it's hard to do that here because a lot of the shows happen in bars. So just to frame that up, where that conversation came from. And so we've, for a long time, been trying to do that. And I don't know when it was, sometime during maybe the third or fourth week when we were kind of getting ready to open, we kind of realized that, we now meet the food requirements that allow us to change the designation of this venue, and how we can, let different age groups in. And technically, we're all ages, and we've done 3 shows that are all ages.
Okay, so I've got it wrong then. It's not 18 and over.
We determine based on the show, and we prefer to stick to 18 and up just because we like that marker right now while we're learning and training ourselves to entertain a different age group, an audience that we've never had to entertain before. And then we've done a couple of shows where the artist's fan base is under 16 years old. We've done 2 of those so far, and they went great. And so we'll keep kind of slowly doing that. At some point in time, we'll be an all-ages venue all the time, or we'll be able to dictate what the requirements are of that specific show. Our goal is to do more all-ages stuff in the future.
So, Josh, another thing about the shows in the the HiFi aspect is there a door that allow you to go between the restaurant and the venue?
Yeah, when we launched the restaurant, we added a doorway that connected the venue and the restaurant. And so on some shows during the evening time, that door is open. And so since we now share the footprint of the spaces are the same, and we share a liquor license, guests that come to a show can come over, get food, grab a drink from our second bar, take it back over, and then next year, when we relaunch the Annex in May, which is our outdoor venue, you'll be able to actually walk between all of the venues and the restaurant and still carrying your drink, which is something we were very disconnected before. It's something we always wanted to try and work on so that we could do more like festival-style events where multiple stages are happening, and now this restaurant being the centerpiece, you can travel between them without ever having the inconvenience of having to dump out your drink or finish your sandwich or whatever. You can take it wherever you want.
Here's something circumstantial that just popped into my head. So, now that you have this space and you're making this great food, have the artists you bring into the venue responded? Like, I'm so glad that this is here, you know?
Yeah, I think for me, that was one of the biggest pieces, right? So we're always making sure that the fans have a great experience, but we also want to make sure the bands have a good experience.
It's so important.
Yeah, and so now, the tour bus pulls up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and I'd say probably we've done 30 shows since we've been open. 25 of those shows, the band is in here as soon as they park the van or the bus. So the crew's in, and they
want
eat
coffee right away, right?
Yeah, the coffee, breakfast, and they're just like, oh, wow. They're like, oh, hey, welcome. And we're like, oh, yeah, we own the HiFi too. And they're like, oh, my God, this is like, so we're kind of like the welcome wagon for them in a way. And like, first face you see when you step off the bus has got coffee and chilaquiles for you. It's going to be a good day, right? No matter how bad how things get, So it's setting the tone for the day, and the experience in Indianapolis for the artists is something that we are, really passionate about, and making sure we do a good job because we want them to come back.
Well, and speaking of breakfast, like, what if I'm in a hurry? There's tables in here. You come in, you sit down and wait and have a nice breakfast. But do you have anything for the people on the go?
Yeah. We offer carry out all the times that we're open, and then we do grab and go sandwiches every morning. So you can just come up to our front counter. There's 3 different types of hot and ready sandwiches, and you can grab that and a cup of coffee to go and be on your way out the door in 2 minutes.
Right on. All right. Well, Josh, Ricky, I really appreciate your time. Easy Rider Diner open today, actually. Come see a show. Come grab a bite beforehand. And thanks again.
Yeah, and you can find the menu and all the hours and everything that you would need to make a reservation if you'd like. Walk-ins are always welcome, but if you need to plan ahead for a show or something, you can make a reservation online at easyriderindy.com.